Welcome. Today we have this math expressions. We are asked to find the value of x. This kind of equation is easy and straightforward. Follow me to the end of this tutorial so that you can also know how to get rid of this kind of mathematical equation. Today we have square root of x into bracket square root of x, everything to bracket square root of x will be equal to 128. Let's get started. To find the value of x in this kind of mathematical expression requires some mathematical skills and formulas. Firstly, let's square both sides. After squaring both sides, we realize that we are able to eliminate the outermost square root. Thereby, we are having x square root of x into bracket square root of x now be equal to 128 square. Square both sides again. After squaring both sides again, we'll be able to eliminate the second square root. Thereby, we'll now be having x square root of x, then dot x to now be equal to 128, everything raised to power 4. Because according to the law of indices, that power multiplied by power will give us the product of the power. So x squared times x raised to power 1, that will give us x raised to power 3 dot square root of x, square everything, then equate it to the right hand side and square it as well. Now we are having 128 raised to power 4, then square. So when we expand our left hand side, we'll be having x raised to power 3 square dot square root of x square will now be equal to 128, then 4 times 2 will give us 8. Therefore, we have 128 raised to power 8. From our left hand side, we have x raised to power 6 dot x. Because that square, we cancel the square root, now we got to 128 raised to power 8. Let's move forward. So x raised to power 6 dot x is equal to 128 raised to power 8. And don't forget, 128 simply means 2 raised to power 7. So according to indices, that is index, if you do 2 times 2 times 2 in 7 places, you must have 128. Therefore, x raised to power 6 dot x raised to power 1, according to the law of indices, you will add the power, you'll be having x raised to power 7 to be equal to 2 raised to power 7, everything raised to power 8. So from here, we can simply interchange the power from our right hand side. By doing this, that was why I wrote x raised to power 7 to be equal to 2 raised to power 8, everything raised to power 7. Because a raised to power b, everything close to bracket c, simply means a raised to power c, everything close to power b. Therefore, we have our x to be equal to 2 raised to power 8. And 2 raised to power 8 simply means 256. So, because once we have the same power, according to law of indices, we can simply cancel out the power and equate the base. That's why I just did. That was why I have x because of 256. Now, let's verify our answer. If our answer is correct, square root of x inside square root of x inside square root of x, everything equal to 128. So from here, let's substitute for the value of x. Since our x is 256, therefore we'll be having square root of 256 inside square root of 256 inside 256 to now be equal to 128. Now, let's simplify this. The innermost 256, you can simply write it in index form. So by writing it, now we have 256 square root of 16 square. So that we'll be able to eliminate the innermost square root. So the square has cancelled out the square root. So now I have square root of 256 square root of 256 times 16. Everything should now be equal to 128. So by doing this, we have 256, then square root of, we can rewrite 256 to be 16 square as well, then times 4 square, so that we'll factor out the square from 16 and 4 and then use it to cancel out the square root. So we now have 256 into bracket 16 times 4, everything square. So square root of it is equal to 128, so that the square will be cancelled out the square root. So as you can see, we now be having square root of 256. So the square has cancelled out the square root. Now have 16 times 4, everything to be equal to 128. So we now left with only one square root. So with this, so let's now look for a way to eliminate the remaining square root. So we rewrite 256 as 16 square. Then 16 times 4 you give us 64. So we now have 16 times, so we can rewrite 64 as 8 square as well. So therefore we factor out square of 16 and square of 8 as well, everything to be 128, so that we'll be able to get rid of the square root. So as you can see, we now have 16 times 8. 16 times 8 will give us 128. Therefore, our left hand side is now equal to our right